Welcome in Dr. Michael Busler, who's a Ph.D., is a public policy analyst, economics expert, and a professor of finance at Stockton University in New Jersey. He's also a featured columnist at Newsmax, The Hill, and The Western Journal, and townhall.com. Dr. Busler's been with us before, and great to have you back. Good morning, Dr. Busler. How are you?
I'm doing well, Gary. Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Always a pleasure to have you aboard. And one of our topics this morning, the coronavirus is creating more socialists. How so? Tell us your thoughts on that.
So what happens is during recessionary times when people are hurting, socialism tends to appeal to those people that are hurting. It really started in earnest, I think, when President Obama was elected. He came in during a recessionary time, and what he should have done is concentrate on economic growth. And when you do that, that'll provide opportunity for everybody and get the economy going again. Instead, he concentrated on curing perceived social injustices. It's injustice everybody doesn't have health care. It's injustice banks take advantage of consumers, et cetera. Every time he did that, it tended to slow economic growth. Now, when that happens, there's less opportunity for people. And when there's less opportunity for people, they're earning less income and have less chance to advance. And suddenly they find they can't afford to pay for certain things like health care and some other things. So the government says at that point, well, look, don't worry about your health care. Don't worry about if you have enough food. Don't worry about if you have enough income. The government will take care of you. And people looking for security, that becomes very appealing to them. Same thing is happening now. There's 36 million people have been laid off in the last 4 weeks, and some numbers are coming out today about what happened last week. I don't think it'll be as high as the 3 million we've seen, but there's still people being laid off. So a lot of people are hurting. And when people are hurting, and someone comes along and says, look, we're going to pay for things for you, we're going to take care of you, that becomes very appealing to them. And I think that's why socialism today is gaining some more popularity.
Dr. Busler, when we look at the arguments that are taking place in this country right now, they go back to the very basis, I think, of where the political parties, or at least ideological looks, maybe conservative and liberal, have been over the years, in the sense that conservatives generally have believed that we're better off doing as much government ourselves as we humanly can, being independent from the governmental representatives that we elect, and that they only need do those things which protect our security, although that horse left the barn some years ago, I think, for conservatives and Republicans as well. On the other side, you have Democrats who say, we will trust in the government to kind of be the referee and make sure things are fair, as you kind of alluded to a moment ago, and do things for us, thus creating more of a dependent kind of look on the representatives who supposedly represent the real government, which is we the people. That seems to be where we're at right now in this whole COVID thing, on saying, well, we're going to trust the governors. They've got the best in mind here. And on the other side, people are saying, we'll trust them for a little bit for the emergency part, but the emergencies don't last forever, and then we're going to come back to trusting ourselves and our own instincts. Your thoughts about separating those two kinds of philosophies?
Yeah, Gary, you bring up some great points. If we look at the big picture here, the U.S. went from the birth of a country to the number one largest, most prosperous economy in the world in about 150 years. Other countries were hundreds, in some cases thousands of years older. Well, how did that happen? My view is there were four basic principles we followed. One, we encouraged individual freedom. So as long as you didn't infringe upon anybody else's rights, you can do what you wanted to do. We encouraged individual responsibility. People took care of themselves.
Right. We
had low rates of taxation and a limited role for government. Government provided what you alluded to, what we call public goods, defense of the country, a legal system. But other than that, it pretty much got out of the way. Socialism is exactly opposite to all four of those principles. When the government takes over health care and or higher education, you're going to tell you what to do. Secondly, you're going to switch from individual responsibility, people primarily taking care of themselves, to social responsibility. The government, to be able to pay for all this, you can't tax just the wealthy. There's not enough of them. Everybody's taxes are going to have to go up. So tax rates will increase. And fourthly, have a very large role for government, exactly opposite to what made the country great. I believe if we keep going down this socialist road, you'll see, like we did during the Obama administration, a very stagnant economy. And that doesn't really benefit anyone. Rather, I like what President Trump's solution was to these problems. He said, look, instead of giving everybody free stuff, let's just get the economy growing, create opportunity for everybody so they can earn enough income to pay for their own stuff. And that's really what people want. They don't want to get free stuff. I mean, they take it because they really don't have any choice in some instances. What people really want is the ability to earn it themselves and pay for it themselves. So once we get over this coronavirus, and I think the recovery will be very quick and a steep high recovery once this coronavirus thing gets over, and that will bring more opportunity for people, and that will, I think, tend to reduce the appeal of socialism.
We look at the different philosophies on bringing the economy back in the country, and we've had different governors say we're going to do this over a long, long period of time. Other governors now are saying, no, we want to bring it back quickly, out like the governor in Florida, for example. Our governor here in Pennsylvania wants to do it over a much longer period of time through a red, yellow, green kind of setup. And and we look at that and we say, okay, well, what happens to businesses? I mean, we're seeing a lot of businesses that are going to go under, especially small businesses here in America. And some businesses are going to change the way they've done business. So, people are going to change the way they've done business from before. Brick and mortar may fall by the wayside, and we may see more online kind of things, even work from home. So we look at that, but one of the disturbing things I heard the other day from one of the governors was, well, just be satisfied with your check you're going to get between now and then. Well, that goes to the very heart of socialism. The government will decide what you get during that time, as opposed to you earning what you could have earned.
Look, we're in a no-win situation here. If you open too early, you get an increase in cases and probably deaths. If you open too late, you're going to end up with ruining businesses. I'm trying to fight. I live at the Jersey Shore. I'm trying to fight now to get the Jersey Shore open by Memorial Day. Obviously, okay. I'm not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And the reason is, just as you said, you're going to have, the longer we stay shut, the more businesses are going to go bankrupt. That's going to create high unemployment. That's going to end up creating alcohol abuse, drug abuse, depression, suicide, domestic violence, and ultimately more deaths. So if we're in a no-win situation, you want to take the option that minimizes losses. My view is we should open up everything as safely and soon as possible. You may see an increase in the number of cases in the coronavirus, but on the other hand, you'll save the economy, and I think you'll be doing more benefit by opening early rather than waiting any further. I'm really nervous about these short businesses. We already missed what we call our shoulder season.
Right.
From Easter to Memorial Day is gone. We're now going to miss Memorial Day, talking about perhaps June 1st. We're going to miss Memorial Day weekend and the next weekend. June 1st is a Monday, so that's 2 more weekends we're going to miss. And when they open, they're going to have some restrictions to how many, what capacity they're allowed to open to. So what that means is, for especially small businesses, their revenue will be down 30 to 50% below what it was last year. Making things worse, in New Jersey, 2 years ago, businesses were paying $8.65 an hour for completely unskilled labor. Today, they're paying $11 an hour for completely unskilled labor. That's a 30% increase in labor costs and a 50% possibly decrease in revenue. Businesses are going to go under. I say to the businesses, even if you make it through this year, the minimum wage goes up to $12 an hour next year, $13 an hour the year after that, $14 the year after that, and $15 the year after that. That alone is going to clobber small businesses. So we need to get opened up as soon as possible in order to save these businesses.
Dr. Busler, always good talking with you. Appreciate your insights on this morning, and we'll keep an eye on it and be talking with you again sometime very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gary. My pleasure.